Alright guys, welcome to another episode of Happily Whatever
Whatever
After.
after.
जैसा कि आप लोग ने देखा लास्ट एपिसोड में शोखी ने मेरी चड्डी उतार दी थी. She kind of told me that what happens when I was a Casanova. She took me back to 14 years back. I don't know. I was not able to answer right. I just went into कि गाय ने चारा खाया, चारा कहाँ से आया, कैसा हुआ. So I really don't know what was all about that episode. But yes, it was fun. At the end, Shokhi was able to get the answers, weren't you, Shok? Like, no?
Some of them.
Some of them. Okay, good, good, good. So yes,
सो फाइनली अब हमने इतने जो पास्ट के गड़े मुर्दे उखाड़े, उससे हमें ये रियलाइज हुआ कि एक लाइफ थी हमारी भी जब हम लोग डेटिंग करते थे. ओके, सो फॉर यू सिंगल पीपल जो हमें ताने मारते हैं आजकल, वी हैव गॉट अ वेरी स्पेशल गेस्ट टुडे. शी इज राधिका मोहता. शी इज अ डेटिंग कोच, रिलेशनशिप कोच, and also a matchmaker, like the modern day version of Cupid is what I like to call her. Welcome, Radhika,
yeah,
to Happily Whatever After. And for everyone who's listening, I love this line that Radhika uses. She is someone who will take you on your last first date.
yes,
Okay, so let's have a date with Radhika on Happily Whatever After. And over to you, Radhika.
yes.
Welcome.
Welcome, Radhika.
Yay! Thank you so much, Karan and Shokhi. And for all of you who are listening, Shokhi also happens to be my school and college junior. So we
Yes.
go way back, like way before Karan entered our lives.
Yes. And I think Radhika was one of the witnesses of how Karan entered my life.
Yes. And trust me, guys, before start of this interview with Radhika, I was taken like 10 years back from Radhika. I was like कि अच्छा ये मेरे को जानती है, ये सब शोखी का किया धराया है, उसने मुझे ऐसे हीरो बनाया है जैसे इसकी लाइफ में कोई और है ही नहीं. आई एम
तो
एक्चुअली
है
फीलिंग
क्या
लाइक
कोई और?
कोई है नहीं, but I'm actually feeling like a Bollywood hero today. Yeah,
Yeah, because you've never been the side actor, you've always been the main actor, Karan.
Yeah, you should feel like that always.
yeah. Over to you. Yes.
Yes. So thank you so much for giving us your time, Radhika. So I just want to ask you one thing that अब like I said, करण और मुझे डेट किए हुए ही शायद 10-12 साल हो चुके हैं. ओके, सो वी डोंट अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट दिस मीनिंग ऑफ डेटिंग कोच इज. सो what is, like, enlighten us non-single people, what is a dating coach and what's going on in the dating world today? It's like we
I
are
love
out of
this.
touch.
I love how you have no idea about the world of apps and how to navigate those, and you're like
Actually,
old school
we both,
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
fully. We've never been on any of the dating apps, so we
Yes.
don't even know what it looks like on the inside.
Yeah.
So please tell us.
Okay, amazing. So, I work as a matchmaker and relationship coach. I've been doing this for about 5 years now, enabled more than 4,000 marriage-minded
Wow.
singles with
Wow.
their life partner search in one way or the other. And why do we need a role like mine in today's day and age is because dating is hard. And
Sure.
I'm here to make it easier for people, to make it fun, to make it a process of self discovery, better communication, better conflict management, and learning what works for you and what doesn't, and just make it fun. So, in my work, where people truly benefit is by understanding who they truly are, what are they looking for in terms of a relationship, in terms of a partner, and then go on to make progress to reverse engineer how to arrive at that person and find that person. Come to think of it, there are 8 billion people on this planet. We have more than 1,500 dating apps available globally. Insane number of matchmakers, platforms, technology that allows us to access database and yellow pages of who is single, at what height, which geography, what pin code, what, all of these things. So, options की कमी नहीं है, but to navigate amid all that optionality and perceived options is where we are at.
Okay. Okay. So I have a, question which is connected to how you told about 1500 dating apps. And as you also told that there are 8 billion people in the world, and you are actually making these people connect for lifetime, correct? There is a very big question that comes into my head, that how do you approach things? Because a lot of time when we have 1500 dating apps, swipe left or swipe right, most of the cases I have seen that people get involved very fast. If they do not
Mhm.
like one person, they just go on, finding more and more and more and more. So there are disadvantages also and advantages also. How do you help in that? Like, how do you navigate that story? Because in this world today, I'm sure that people are hooked onto dating apps. And when you come in picture, how does it change the scenario?
Interesting. I love the question, Karan. Thank you for asking. So, sure, we have options, and like I said, we have perceived options because just because there are millions of profiles out there doesn't mean those many people are a relevant match for you
Correct.
based on your geography, your value system, your lifestyle, your goals, what you're looking at in short term, long term, your dating intentions, all of that,
Yeah.
the entire pool will shrink to limited choices for you.
Okay.
However, we live in this illusion that there are millions of profiles and therefore millions of people out there. So that's one. Coming to how do how do I help people with it? Like what changes when they sign up with me? So the fact that and I am not anti-dating apps at all. I believe in technology. I'm that person who embraced Orkut back in the days, who had internet friends because I would write a blog spot if
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
of the 90s kids
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
So I've always been that internet friendly, tech friendly person who now also uses ChatGPT and stuff. So where the situation changes when people sign up with me is three things. One, they come with an open mindset, they come with a growth mindset that they are willing to acknowledge that they could use help. Just like when taxes become complicated, people sign up with a CA to file
Yeah.
their income tax returns, and
Correct.
that's totally acceptable. The same way, this is like a life skill. So when you're adulting and you haven't figured how to be able to date, or even if you're dating but it's not working out and not tied to the outcomes that you would like to have, then people are like, okay, I can acknowledge that I can use a bit of help, and they sign up.
Yeah.
So, one, just having that open mindset and that growth mindset is super helpful. Two, it helps when people are willing to not be fully dependent on apps. So, one thing I keep saying, apps are one of the ways to meet people. They're not the only way to meet people.
True, true.
True. True.
Yeah.
So, come to think of it, when we are saving our money, when we are talking a finance language, we always say don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And we have a diversified financial portfolio. So,
Yeah.
there's mutual funds and FDs and whatnot, right?
Wow.
Even when it comes to dating, why are we pinning all our hopes on one or two or three apps on our phone?
Wow.
So, you need a diversified dating portfolio. Where are you showing up? In your alumni circles, in interest based activities, at a place of worship if you believe in your faith, uh, all those things.
Wow. Wow.
So, where are you showing up is important. One of the ways of showing up is apps, sure, but you need that diversified portfolio. And the third thing that also happens is people learn to have meaningful and harder conversations, and that's important.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we think that talking about topics like family history, upbringing, what certain things like money could mean to you, all that can come for later, Initial phase is just getting to know each other. Let me not bring up tough topics.
True,
I
true.
don't
True.
want to trigger somebody.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, sure, I'm not asking you to talk about these topics on the very first date, But if you have been going around for a month or a quarter by now, and you're still not aware about each other's love language or what makes each other feel seen, heard, valued, understood, what is your history so far, broadly, not every detail. And what are your value systems? Are you diagonally opposite in terms of your lifestyles? Like one person is a morning person, the other is a party night animal or whatever. So just having a clear understanding of each other, being able to communicate well, and knowing that there's a good possibility here or not is important, without trying to wear those rose tinted glasses and be like, oh no, but everything else is so good
I know.
Yeah.
and it all looks very rosy and the person is meeting my checklist. I mean, throw away that checklist, because your checklist just read about very quantitative metrics of height, weight, package, pin code. Your checklist never said, how are they making me feel?
Yeah.
Correct.
How are they treating me? Do we have mutual respect for each other? Are we being kind to each other? Are we going to show up for each other in times which are good as well as bad?
Correct. Correct. Correct.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I think very nicely put in three pointers, because most of the time, I think usually, we get messed up in our heads, and, rightly said by you in the third point, which was the checklist, right? We always have this same checklist of कैसा दिखता है, कैसा लग रहा है, क्या कपड़े पहनता है, कैसे पार्टी करता है, कितनी गाड़ी है, कितना पैसा है, and everything. But the most important factor we forget is, how does a person make you feel? That is the most important factor that one should actually, have that. Thank you so much. Yeah, Shoki, you can go.
Yes. So this makes me very curious to know, and I'm sure a lot of people who are not acquainted with this profile, or even the fact that, we all have that image of, thanks to TV and films, we have that image of matchmaker, right? Like, so
And to
I
Netflix.
thanks to I didn't want to name her. Like,
No, I love her work, by the way.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I think she's very cute, entertaining, and but at the same time, she's bringing people together.
Yeah.
So I wanted to understand that, since I really like associate you as a modern day Cupid, okay? So what does this Cupid do? Like, how does your process work? So that, why I'm asking this question is so that if somebody who's, and there are a lot of single people listening to us, if they are intimidated by something like this, then they can get the understanding of how it works, so that it becomes like, we break it down for them, so that they know that it's okay to approach you or any other dating and relationship coach.
Amazing. Okay, yeah. So, caution. There is no caution here. Uh, cool. So, Shoki, in my work as a matchmaker and relationship coach, my primary focus is on the dating accelerator called Elevate that I run. And Elevate is pretty simple, three steps. People go to my website, sign up for the offering. There's a new cohort that comes up on the first Saturday of every month. That enables, after signing up, they receive a calendar invitation. So they receive clarity exercises, take up a couple of assessment quiz to understand their attachment style, their personality, their love language, write their manifestation letter, do some homework before they proceed to step two, which is a live cohort, which is not recorded. It's a safe space. People share their assignments as well as have a lot of conversation around what's happening at this point in time in their lives. And that allows them to meet like-minded people, have their peer group, know that they're not alone in this journey and they're not so unique and so special that it's only happening to them. And just have that sense of belonging, because that becomes their group. And step three, I also do one-on-one sessions with each one of them to further optimize their dating or matrimony profile, basically ensuring that they're authentically showing up from their pictures to their conversation prompts to their audio, video, whatever medium they're
Mm-hmm.
using.
Yeah.
So that is a three-step process. Now, while matchmaking is not a placement guarantee, or even for that matter, it's nowhere in the picture to say, oh, it's a promised offering. It's not.
Hmm.
However, given my interaction with so many people month on month, through a lot of curated events that I host, through the newsletter that I write, through all my speaking engagements and the cohort, of course, I do have an understanding of people who are marriage minded singles, emotionally available, currently looking out, and therefore I set them up on first dates very selectively. So it's not a placement guarantee.
Yeah.
I like
However,
how you call it.
yeah, however, as and when I see two people as a good fit, when I find them to be relevant to each other, I do set them up on first dates.
Wow.
So one more curious question I have. So
Mm-hmm.
this elevate thing, like the step one where everybody is doing their manifestation letter and
Mm-hmm.
attachments, is this like a like people can see each other in that call, or like
Oh,
how does that
interesting.
work?
So, when the calendar invitation goes out, nobody knows who all are coming to the cohort.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this is happening asynchronously, like people are in their own homes,
Yeah.
offices, traveling
Of
wherever
course.
they are, and they can complete their clarity exercises. When
Okay.
they come to the live cohort, everybody keeps their video on and
Okay.
participate in the live cohort, and that is when people definitely get to talk to each other. But again, like I said, uh, परिचय सम्मेलन नहीं है, कि लोगों की
I
जोड़ियां नहीं
was
बन रही है कोहॉर्ट
Correct.
में.
Correct. Correct.
yeah, so that's where I was coming from. You know my filmy Bollywood mind, like कि oh हमने तो देख लिया कि अब यही है. So does that happen? Is what I wanted to know. That when they see each other on the call, are they already looking that okay, this might be one, this might be one.
I won't completely deny, because I have definitely had people from the same cohort express interest in getting connected post the cohort and gone out on dates, and made progress further. But like I said,
It's no guarantee. Yeah, of
the
course.
complete disclaimer is this cohort is not aimed at matchmaking. It's not a singles mixer.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly why I wanted to elaborate this process, because it's very easy to mistake it for ki, okay, you are somebody who just gets them together and then they have to do whatever they have to do.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like
So,
that. It's very
Shoki, one more thing that happens, no?
yeah.
Anytime it's a singles mixture, and while they're great to basically uh, generate more leads
Yeah.
to meet
Yeah.
the kind of people you would like to in your city, but at the same time, there's a lot of performance pressure
Yeah.
Yeah.
on how you want to come across in those two
Of
hours,
course.
what
Yeah.
you want to wear, which car you want to drive in and park,
Correct.
and
Correct.
make sure everybody else is looking at it,
Yeah.
and what kind of
Make a good
so
first
yeah,
impression
make a
overall.
good first impression. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So there's a lot of pressure there, and that's not something we have done.
Correct.
Yeah.
So which brings me to another question, because I remember you and I had a chat in between and where we discussed how you arrived. Like so today when I see your
But
Instagram
thanks,
account,
thanks for mentioning in between, because then I could just go back, like I could go back 20 years and be like, which chat did we have? Which one?
the most
Was it about Karan? Was it about something else?
it was when we had both achieved our relationships
Oh,
in life.
sure. Okay.
so so like I remember you telling me how did you come to this, and which is a story which I really loved. So I want my audiences also to know how did you, because when I see your Instagram and what you're telling us right now, I really believe that this is you following your purpose of bringing people together, and that's such a beautiful thing, to think of. And I'm a romantic, so obviously I love such
Yay.
stories.
Yeah.
So
High
I
five, fellow rom-com person.
yeah. So I wanted you to tell us how did you arrive at this cohort? What was this idea? Because it's a very unique idea. How did you
Mhm.
come up with it? What was the process? I remember you telling me it started as something like a normal call in the lockdown days, and What is the story
Right.
behind
Let me walk you
this
through it. Sure.
element? Yes.
So, yeah, much before lockdown actually. So we go way back to about 5 years ago when I knew that I wanted to start up, but also stick to the space for a really long time now and not look at an exit and not look at not necessarily look at a venture backed startup and all of that. So I went back to my call logs on the phone. I went back to the kind of conversations I've always had with people, be it in Uber pool rides, be it with complete strangers at a cafe, wherever. And I just, in my head, processed what is it that people usually reach out to me for? And where is it that I'm typically able to do a little bit of value addition into people's lives? And I said, okay, dating, relationships, it's still hard for people. Can I do something about it? And being a non-techie that I am, I didn't come up with an app. Sure, I do live in the Silicon Valley of India, but no, my idea to tackle it was not chal app banate hain.
I know.
And so how Paul Graham and Y Combinator would say, do things that do not necessarily scale. I did typically 45-minute long phone calls with people who were single. And this, I'm talking about 2019. So friends of friends, first, second degree connections, just talking to a ton of people, understanding what's working for you, what's not working for you. Where is it that you are finding bottlenecks, and those. Like I remember that the longest call was close to 2 hours. She was in her late 20s, working as a product manager with a company in Hyderabad, an MNC in Hyderabad, and she just went on, and it was our first ever call, and we kept talking because a lot of people, Karan and Shokhi, will be surprised, did not have somebody who would give them a listening ear,
I know.
Wow.
I know.
like a non-judgmental listening ear,
Yeah.
without preaching them something, without telling them why the hell did you hook up, without gossiping about their situationships or whatever it is.
Correct.
So people were super amazing, and thanks to each one of those calls that allowed me to gain an understanding of what's going on, what are the patterns that I'm seeing, and where is it that people need help. So that translated into eventually setting out a lot of them on first dates, gathering more feedback on आपको लगता है कि आपको ये चीज चाहिए लाइफ में, but again your customer doesn't know what they truly want.
Correct.
Yeah, true.
So you come with मुझे आटा दाल चावल चाहिए, and you want to walk away ideally with I want a pizza pasta, and I'm like, okay. So yeah, a lot of those first dates also allowed me to gather a lot of insights into what's going on, what is it that people say, what is it that they act in terms of actions, what translates into those. At one point in time, I also co-founded a Discord server called Slow Dating. So my then co-founder Arjun and I were setting up people on audio-only dates,
Wow.
and those allowed us a lot of insights again on how people react to dates after they see the visuals. Suddenly they go like, "अब मुझे vibe नहीं आ रही है,
Yeah.
अब मेरा spark चला गया है, अब मुझे chemistry ही feel नहीं हो रही है जो मुझे audio date पे feel हुई थी."
You just took me back to Yahoo days, right?
Yeah.
ASL, like you just type it, and then when you go for a first date, it's a blind date. You don't know what are you doing.
Yeah, true.
Everything changes, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, visuals do make a ton of difference
Yeah.
because people are whether you like it or not, we are visual first. So that makes us triggers our brain. So that happened, and of course, 2020 was also the time when I had started this community where I would gather women on online calls, and then discuss every Sunday. We would discuss everybody's love life, dating life. I've had women reschedule their dates from a Sunday to a Saturday because they're like, wait, Sunday is my important call, so the date can happen on a Saturday.
Nice.
Amazing. Yeah.
So I think a lot of I am quite a community person, and I love to, as much as I've been a solo founder all this while, like majorly, I love to work with people, among people, with the communities, because that really allows me to build from a user first approach.
Correct.
So, finally, January 2022, when I launched a cohort based course on dating, that was thanks to all the insights I had gathered up until then from the matchmaking work that I had done, and from the Zoom calls I had taken with the community, and from the workshops that I had run for them, everything. So, Jan 2023, when it relaunched as a dating accelerator. I mean, I live in Bangalore. You expect incubation centers and accelerators and all that for startups. And we are talking about starting up your life
Correct.
with the
Yeah, of
co-CEO of
course.
your
Yeah.
life for the
Of
next
course.
4 decades. So
Yeah.
sure. So it's a dating accelerator.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where we are as of today.
Yeah. Very interesting. I think it's been a brilliant journey, and right now, while listening to you, it makes me feel like how wonderful it is that one person is actually making two souls meet. Like how
That's why I said
brilliant.
it's her purpose, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she
How
arrived
brilliant.
at it.
Yeah, yeah. That's a brilliant.
Ikigai.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. And somewhere down the line, I think good that we are here. Our journey is, and the podcast is also very successful because Radhika is there because we wanted to.
I think we should have like a
Oh my God.
we should have like a setup
Yeah.
where she's getting people married and then we are giving them reality check
Check.
of marriage.
Our,
Because
our, our
that's
podcast
what
is
it
all about,
means, right?
right?
Happily whatever
Right
after. It's
after.
not ever after. It's whatever comes after.
Yeah.
You have
Mhm.
to be together. So
Yeah.
like you said, they're co-CEOs.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. I mean, you need to work and act like a team, and you need to stick
yeah,
it out because options तो बहुत है ज़माने में.
I
Correct.
know.
कब तक
Correct.
explore करोगे?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when once you choose that option, that is when the real adulting begins, right? That's when you realize that so many issues are still pending to
Absolutely.
to be
And two things
discussed.
there, Shokhi. So one is the fact that you know, once you commit to something, you will tell yourself the story that yes, these are all the reasons this decision is the most amazing ever.
Yeah,
And two is the fact that entrance exam clear करने के बाद आपको syllabus complete करना है.
I know.
So just finalizing on a person is just clearing that entrance. उसके बाद क्या?
Of
उसके बाद तो
course.
life जीनी है.
I know. I know. उसके बाद भी आएंगी परीक्षाएं तो आती ही रहेंगी.
Correct.
Like every
बिल्कुल.
semester, right?
So
Bilkul. And
I
all the issues that we've been avoiding all this while, they, uh, growing together in a relationship allows us to further look at those issues because
Yeah.
वो आपके face पे extrapolate होके आएंगे. Like,
Yeah.
look, this is what you had been
Yeah,
avoiding.
your partner is a mirror that
Yeah.
we keep saying that
Yeah.
they'll just show
Yeah.
you the actual issues that you have.
Correct. Correct.
So they're not really bringing up their issues. They're showing you what you are. So
Correct.
you have to deal with those
Yes.
issues now.
So
Absolutely.
this brings me to a very interesting question, right? We were discussing about, new age technology, dating apps and everything, correct? When you are meeting these kind of people, they are really so much inclined into, there's one part which is like the new generations which are coming to dating apps and, hooking themselves day in, day out with different people coming in and out. So do you also face a lot of issues with making them understand what exactly your elevation process is all about? Like you elevate yourself, or you go into the process, because it's going to be very challenging, because not everyone actually understands that, uh, meeting someone and looking a 4 decade life together is not going to be easy. So how hard is it to make people understand that? Because one thing which I see is, because your process is completely new, and for people to actually understand, it will take a lot of time.
Interesting. तो करण ना दो चीजें यहाँ पे. पहला तो like I said, when people sign up for my program, they are already coming with an open mind. They have a growth mindset and they are willing to acknowledge that they could use help. तो काफी चीजें आसान हो जाती हैं क्योंकि मैंने तो अभी तक एड्स रन नहीं किया है, मैंने किसी को जाके सेल किया नहीं है.
True, true.
And I am not the one going on the street and saying, hey, तेरे को शादी करनी चाहिए. So that's not happening, right? So
Correct.
one makes things easier when
Yeah.
people are opting in and signing up with you. The second part is the fact that these are people who are 24 and above, and they are marriage-minded singles.
Correct.
So the positioning of the program of Elevate, the Dating Accelerator, is that once you have figured a lot of other variables in life,
Yeah.
in terms of what courses to pursue, which career to choose, what geography to live in, and stuff. I'm not saying you don't make those decisions later in your 20s, 30s again, but fundamentally, once a lot of variables are settled and you are looking at marriage or a long term commitment, is when you sign up with me.
Correct.
So, makes things easier there, and therefore, people are willing to give time to understanding themselves.
Okay.
What is it that they are expecting from a partner, a relationship, their life, goals, all of those things.
Superb. Understood. Yes.
So, from so many things that you've so far observed, it's been 5 years, right, since starting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm very curious to know if you've observed any dating patterns that people have, which are very common. Like it used to be in our times. Like most of us used to be fully, me for example was fully influenced by Bollywood, and then it always used to feel like, oh, this is how my life is going to be. And then there was no Switzerland, and there was no baraf and no sari. It was like harsh reality. And that
Oh
that
my
pattern
goodness.
continued even after marriage. It still continues from time to time. Karan is a victim of that. So are
Mm-hmm.
there any such dating, not exactly this, but any dating patterns that you see which need to be pointed out, and probably when you say it, people will have that light bulb moment कि ओ हाँ ये तो
Interesting.
मेरे साथ हो रहा है.
तो शोकी सिर्फ आपके साथ नहीं हुआ है कि आपने बॉलीवुड हॉलीवुड कंटेंट कंजम्पशन अच्छे से किया है और अब आपको लगता है कि यू नो दैट
Yes,
इज
that is
प्रिंस
how.
चार्मिंग ऐसा ही होना चाहिए.
Yes.
I've definitely had so one of the exercises we have as part of Elevate is understanding your content diet, because that allows me to then understand, okay, based on the Instagram reels that you were consuming and the OTT content that you consumed and the kind of stand-up comedy shows that you're watching and whatever is going on your screens, it's affecting you.
Yeah.
And I clearly remember this one lady in her late 20s. She is based out of northern part of India, and she came to my cohort and she said she had watched 50 Shades of Grey more than 2 dozen times, and she totally believed that she would want to have her Christian Grey.
Oh my
So
God.
it had to be somebody who was as rich, hot, giving gifts, the kind of private jet lifestyle. Sex is amazing and all of that. And I'm like, okay, like where is this influence coming from? And then we sort of decoded it to, oh, that reference. I've also had somebody in his mid-30s from Mumbai. He's been through a divorce already, and I remember him mentioning, Radhika, I consumed so many Instagram reels on how the woman is cheating on her husband. And then he just, once you consume certain content, the algorithms are going to serve you more of
Yeah.
similar content.
Yeah.
Correct.
So he just went down that rabbit hole. And at one point in time said, okay, like I now have to stop because I can't take it anymore. It's really affecting. So at one point in time, Karan, हमारी life में ना, we used to say, oh, you become the average of the 5 people that you're surrounded by.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
और अभी तो 5 लोग ढूंढना भी बहुत मुश्किल है because of the crazy busy lifestyles that we have, at
Correct.
least in weekdays. Like everything is like, oh, okay, let's do it on the weekend. But
Yeah.
then weekdays, you are, in your meetings, on your calls, in your schedules and everything. So then who is giving you company?
Correct.
Your mobile phone devices, the apps on it, your laptop, the tabs that are open on your laptop browser.
Correct.
True.
All of this is literally becoming the equivalent of people who are going to influence you.
Yeah.
And if we are not mindful about our content diet,
Yeah.
then yeah,
Yeah.
we are in trouble.
Absolutely. Bang on. I mean,
Who would have thought?
who would have thought this? And trust me, I am like a nerd when it comes to how things are, because currently you will not find my Instagram page as a person. You won't find me on Facebook. You won't find me on any social media apps. And this is something that I have developed after what we discussed right now, that how are we manipulated with the content that we are watching today? Because most of the time people really don't understand that content is actually consuming you. You are not consuming the content. That's the whole bitter truth
If it's
about.
free, you are the product.
Yeah, if it's free, you are the product. Bang on. Plus,
Totally.
there are a lot of books that I have read about people versus tech. I have also you know read about the current uh, you know life which you are. I'm sorry, I'm just deviating from the topic. We might want to go about it, but it is very important that what exactly you need for your own self, because at the end we are talking about a life together. It is not something that you know uh, it's going to be easy for you, because आप जिस हिसाब से पैटर्न चेंज करोगे अपनी लाइफ में, वो इंसान आपको लगेगा अपनी लाइफ में, because that's what your wants will be. So it becomes very important. And in today's generation, the kind of you know what we talk about today is surveillance capitalism. Let me call it very, very simple. The world which we are living on is surveillance capitalism. It's actually known as, it's because we are being tracked by our mobile phone. We are being tracked everywhere we go. And, it becomes very hard to actually come out of it, because you are being surrounded by these gadgets. You are actually, continuously enforced to use that. That's the lifestyle that we are into. So it's really hard. But then what you have described right now about how you watch your content actually is very, very important. So it's scary for me, but yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah,
what.
and in fact, to what you're saying on surveillance and everything. So another side of the story, Karan, is also, as much as apps have allowed us to make our life easier, uh, the 10-minute grocery delivery services to whatever service you'd like to have available at your home, at your doorstep.
Yeah.
We are reducing friction. We are bringing convenience to our doorstep.
Correct.
We are going shopping on the e-commerce platforms, and which is like all great. But then the same behavior is translating when it comes to dating, because then we want to go relationship shopping.
Correct. Correct.
Then we want to make our life choices easier and rely on the app to match us with somebody using AI who is going to be so amazing
Yeah.
that we'll be able to, in real life, spend a lifetime with this person.
In a way, good
So,
but foolish.
yeah, I mean, so sure, technology allows us to reduce friction at a lot of levels, but then two things. One, we need a certain level of friction and we need a certain level of our own mind to be able to make life decisions. Because it's not about aaj paneer tikka khana hai ya biryani. It's beyond that.
Yeah.
Correct.
And B is the fact that we definitely need the appetite to be able to take risk, to be able to fail, to be able to know that everything is not always going to be perfect and not going to be customized to
Correct.
your requirements.
Yeah.
Correct.
Hey, I don't want extra sugar in my coffee, but this is not your coffee.
Yeah.
This is your
True.
life,
True.
This is your
True.
life.
right? So this is not a Starbucks asking you 10 questions on your
Yeah.
preference before they serve you one latte.
Yeah.
Totally. Totally.
Totally.
So, but which was also exactly leading me to my next question. There must be people who are coming to you with a lot of past baggages of the relationships, right?
Mhm.
So, what is your advice to them, or what do you do to make them have a better relationship from there onwards? Like, how can you help with their baggage, or do you at all help with their baggage?
Interesting. So, two things. One, I am not a therapist or a counselor, and I highly recommend people to seek help from mental health professionals if need be. So, if they're still experiencing childhood trauma, if they still have major trust issues and they would like to address it at a deeper level, then I highly recommend them to go to a therapist or a counselor. So, that's one. Two, when it comes to past baggage and everything, I understand people have experienced certain life experiences which are unique to them. However, at this point in time, if they have signed up for my program, uh, they are coming with an open mind where they are willing to make changes
Correct.
to their behavior, to how they have always operated, to writing a new narrative for themselves.
Hmm.
And therefore, like one of the exercises we do in Elevate is what are your self-sabotaging beliefs and writing your dating affirmations.
Yeah.
Because I do understand people say somebody who has been through a breakup and I recently remember talking to somebody, she's 28, works as a product manager with a well-funded startup here in Bangalore. And about 1.5 years ago, she went through a heartbreak, and that was a 3-year-long relationship. She almost thought it will translate into marriage and did not think about this would, lead to any disappointment of sorts for her. So suddenly her life trajectory changed and they broke up, and it's been 1.5 years. I remember she attended my roundtable on dating. We
Hmm.
were sitting at a cafe, like some 7, 8 of us women, everybody else single apart from me. And I could sense when she was about to break down and cry. So just in time, I walked up to her, hugged her. Somebody else ran to get tissue papers. Somebody else ran to get a glass of water. She was crying like I literally had to hold her. And then after that phase was done, we got down to okay, what are your self sabotaging beliefs? And one of the narrative that often comes with people like her and people who have been through a heartbreak is what if I never ever find true love again? Because I've experienced the best of what was out there in the most amazing, passionate way. And what if I never find it again?
Yeah.
And then against that, I'll make them write whatever affirmations work for them that I am worthy, I deserve true love. I am open to the universe sending it my way, whatever it is for them.
True. True.
True.
Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted to know.
No,
Like,
yeah,
apart from the childhood baggage, there's something that we develop as a relationship baggage also, with so much of
Right.
dating and meeting people and breaking up. So
You're
many.
right. And most common ones definitely include Shokhi, people having experienced a heartbreak, people
Yeah.
having been through a divorce, and experiencing major trust issues. Also, people who have sort of been a victim of, online dating scams
yeah,
and
Yeah.
yeah,
sort of lost trust in a financial way or one of those, oh, I saw the pictures, they were very different. I went on a date, the person looked extremely different.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, multiple life experiences uh, have now somehow given them the narrative that hey, this is not working out for you.
Correct.
And it's important to then surround yourself with people who believe in you and willing to work with you. It's also important to, of course, tell yourself the narrative that I'm good. One thing I keep saying, you are the cake. Anybody else can only be the icing.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Because anytime, because of whatever past experiences, oh, but my ex always used to tell me this thing. Oh, but my last one always, you know, did not believe in me, cheated on me, like whatever those stories are.
Correct.
And people give up on hope, they give up on themselves,
Yeah.
and that is a recipe to disaster. So it's so important to let go of that baggage, to uh, check out of that place which is not serving you anymore and check into a place which brings you joy.
Yeah,
True.
true.
Yes.
True.
And I think I like the more we are talking about it, the more I'm feeling like it's such a well thought through uh process, right? For you to have put this together with all kinds of problems in place, that such things happen. So like once more I'm amazed at the modern day Cupid I'm interviewing right now.
I'm
I'm glad,
actually
and I think thanks to all the people in the, thanks to all those tons of interactions that I've had in the last
Yeah,
5 years, to all the people who have been open, vulnerable, shared it with me, allowed me to be a trusted friend in their journey
true,
and work together. I still continue to have weekly check-in calls with some of them, because they need an accountability partner.
true.
yeah,
They're like,
Yeah,
hey, I am so well positioned in my career, leading a top position, running a nursing home of my own, or whatever that is, that my co-workers cannot be my confidant when it comes to my dating journey.
correct,
And
yeah,
I don't necessarily have family people who will be able to relate to what is happening, because they'll be like, इसको इतना difficult क्यों लग रहा है?
correct.
एक दो इसको, बाकी सबकी हो रही है, तेरी भी हो जाएगी.
I
So
know.
when I do those weekly check-in calls, that allows me to also track progress and thankfully make make those iterations in my process of what is going out as a learning outcome.
Correct.
Right. So
Yeah,
something that people would have signed up for in January 2022 when I just launched the program, to what people have most recently experienced in Feb 2024, it's not the same. It's
Yeah,
honestly not the same, because I have evolved. My
correct.
learnings
Yeah,
have been enriched by all these experiences. So why shouldn't I pass on the benefit to all the people who
yeah,
are now
yeah,
coming?
correct.
definitely. Yeah,
So the wonderful thought that I have, Radhika, trust me, whatever we discussed about this dark web and internet, you are
Mm-hmm.
actually the you know hope, or you can say the light, which is basically giving people the real sense of what dating is all about. Because with digitization, we are going away with emotional touch, we are going away with that friction, we are going away with the sacrifices, we are going away with the love. We are only seeing what is being seen on a media, right, which is on a screen, कि मुझे मेरा relationship ऐसा चाहिए. But you are actually the hope, that reality check, which is very very necessary in today's technologically advanced world, because no one understands what human touch is. No one understands you know what is a relationship all about. What does a relationship actually takes to be that 4 decade long company, let me call it, like, it's a company, it's a team work. Like
Totally.
when you build an organization, you need to have those different departments, and that departments will only come when you have a human touch, when you understand what your partner needs. So it's wonderful what you're doing, trust me. I mean,
Thank you.
it's
Thank you so
beautiful.
much for your kind words, Karan. And in fact, one of the exercises we have in Elevators, a relationship role model exercise, so that people do not just believe the 2D images being served to
true.
them, the
Yeah,
pictures from Maldives and wherever, and think that this is all that a relationship is. And
Yeah,
people are expected to go and talk to at least two married couples who've been married for 5+ years, understand what it takes on a daily basis to
yeah,
keep the relationship happy, healthy, strong,
yeah,
and come back
yeah,
to the cohort with the assignment.
yeah.
Because I've most certainly had somebody in her, say, mid 30s in Malad in Mumbai come back with, hey, I spoke with my neighbor, but it looks like there's a lot of patriarchy out there. That's not something I want in my relationship, but I'm glad that I did this exercise to arrive at what is something I don't want.
don't want
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
And there are people who have definitely, like I was recently talking to somebody who's in his early 40s in Assam, and he said, "Hey, I spoke with these people who run a tea estate, and the lady I mean, they have like a meet cute story, because uh, that couple met on a on a bus ride from Delhi to Rishikesh, and the girl was visiting from Italy. And then they got together, and then she
Wow.
just made India her home.
Wow.
And yeah, and while I mean, it's great to have a meet cute. Meet cute is only like 0.0001% of your overall life story. It's amazing how she adapted
Yeah.
to a very small place in Assam, a tea estate, not as much of a city life, and all of
Mm.
that. So all I'm trying to say here is social media allows us to believe कि आपकी लाइफ की highlights और मेरी लाइफ की highlights ही सब कुछ है. But it's a different narrative when we talk to real people, real humans, understand their life journeys, what keeps them going, what are their highs and lows together.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Wonderful.
So, speaking of social media, and we also spoke about how you make them uh, do their ideal relationship affirmations, right? Do you, as a matchmaker and coach, believe that manifestation and law of attraction works in a very big way to get the right partner?
I love that question. Yes, and I'll say yes because the universe is listening to
Yeah,
everything we are saying.
Yeah.
true.
So for people putting out, I don't want scammers, I don't want cheaters, no fake people. The universe is just picking up those keywords and
Yeah.
sending those very people
Yeah,
like le, yele
yeah.
or lele. Because
Universe
universe,
doesn't understand no.
yeah, universe does not understand, oh, you did not want it. Like, why
Yeah,
don't you just clearly communicate what you do want, right?
true.
So that is one. Whatever you're saying, whatever you're manifesting, whatever you're praying for, whatever narrative you're repeating to yourself time and again, 10 times a day, uh, universe is listening. Now,
Yeah.
whether you are an atheist or a religious person, whether you believe on God or not, or whatever that is, but there is something called a universe and that is listening to you. So that is true. And that's the reason I said yes. And you also need to put in efforts.
Yeah.
Because as much as you would love to say, dear universe, please send me a
Bring
cupcake.
me, I know.
Bring me a cupcake, like right now. I'm hungry and I really need a dessert. Universe is like, okay, did you go to a Swiggy, Zomato, somewhere? Do you want to step out of home? Do you want to call a friend and at least let them know that you're looking for this? And if you're not doing any of it, how do I get your cupcake? At least kitchen tak jaake khud to bana, kuch to kar.
Yeah.
I know.
So, translated into dating and relationships, I was most recently talking to somebody who is she's 30. She's an alumni of Ahmedabad and currently living in Bangalore. And she went like, so as part of a reflection exercise, when we discussed where are you showing up, what are you doing outside your work, and what kind of circles are you known in by your name? She was like, okay, just my work and my fitness center. That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And I didn't have to be preachy at all. She herself arrived at, you know what? I really need to, yeah, I need to up my game. I need to show up at places among people in social circles
Mm.
where I could meet people more organically.
Yeah.
So it's completely okay if people, for whatever reasons, for privacy concerns or just the fact that they are fatigued or whatever their reasons are, it's okay if they don't want to be on apps. Apps are not the only way to meet people. Great tools to meet people, but not the only way. Uh, what are you doing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis? Where are you volunteering? Where are you actively involved in your community? What places of worship are you showing up at? What community centers are you showing up at? What cafe are you a regular at? What co-working space are you making use of? Uh,
Yeah.
Literally, it's going to help in maximizing that serendipity, in meeting people more organically. Just this March, I and my husband are attending a wedding. These two met at Third Wave Coffee Roasters, HSR 17th Cross, which happens to be my favorite one. And they were literally sitting next to each other, complete strangers last year. And the girl commented saying, "Hey, I can see everything you're writing in your diary," because that's the way he was writing it, very slanted and stuff. And they started a conversation. And they went on dates, and they were thankfully in the same neighborhood. So proximity really helped them build that consistency of getting to know each other well, after which, of
Yeah.
course, the vulnerability layer kicks in eventually. And March is their wedding.
Wow.
So
Wonderful.
thanks to, our favorite cafe.
Yes.
Yeah, how nice.
How
So,
nice,
so
right?
you must be having so many of such, meet cute examples
Yeah.
to
Oh,
give.
absolutely. And there's a reason Shokhi I said, I mean, meet cutes are great, but also I see a lot of people who tell me, oh, arranged marriage will lack emotions. And they fear that if parents set them up, they will not get enough time to know each other or discover each other's quirks or not. And that's when I have to insist that meet cute is a tiny, miny 0.0001% of your overall life. And how you grow together, how you treat each other, and all those things are basically going to define the relationship. So I keep telling people, parents ने set up किया तो तुम से arranged marriage बोल दोगे, दोस्तों ने किया तो love marriage हो गया. Like, please don't do that, because your parents are, unless they are monsters, right from Monsters Inc., they are also hoping for your best and they want to do good for you. And a conversation with your parents. Like, I was most recently talking to somebody who was in my Elevate January program, and she's 25 and she is from Mumbai, currently works in Bangalore. And she was like, "Hey, Radhika, so my parents are asking me to make a biodata and give it to them. Parallelly, I have been on just 2 dates with somebody I met through a dating app in Bangalore. So, what do you suggest?" And I'm like, "2 dates, you're not exclusive with this person.
Correct.
And you yourself are figuring out where it's going. So it's completely okay to also provide that biodata or a one pager with 10 things about you to your parents, and let them also look out for you. Sure, if you're getting exclusive with someone, if both of you have an understanding that you have done a DTR, defined the relationship, you're together, you have uninstalled apps, and you want to talk to your families, great. But if you yourself are not exclusive, what's the point of keeping your parents on hold and saying, "हम खुद से ढूंढेंगे, आपकी जरूरत नहीं है,
Correct.
आप अपनी बुद्धि मत लगाओ, आपको पता ही नहीं है"? यार ठीक है, मतलब ओके, ऐसे ही उनके बाल सफेद नहीं हुए हैं या whatever, आजकल लोग डाई करा लेते हैं, हेयर कलर करा लेते हैं, but the point is, if you are able to communicate and be on the same page with your parents and say, "Hey, I have grown up as a human. I have grown into a little different human than what you saw me when I was still at home, still in the same schools and colleges in the neighborhood or whatever. Therefore, these are my non-negotiables, or these are my deal breakers, or these are like my absolute non-starters. कि ये हुआ तो बिल्कुल नहीं होगा, right?"
Correct, correct.
And build your support system, build your own team, which is going to work for you in your favor.
Correct. Correct.
So that truly helps.
Yeah.
And it's also, like you said, it's also one more place to show up, right?
Yeah.
Like, apart from all the other things that we think that we show up at.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, workplaces and your parents are amazing ways to get introduced to new set of people.
True.
Correct.
Because workplace पे आपके HR ने सबका profile vet कर लिया है, they know nobody is a serial killer, and यहाँ पे parents अपना
Exactly.
research करके आ रहे हैं.
True. So totally right.
True. We were discussing about arranged marriages. We are discussing about one part, which is a digital relationship, or the swipe right, swipe left. I will always call that, because that's the most easy way to understand. And then we are talking about your way of dating. How different do you see, and how challenging do you see these three things come up? And how do you see this future going in? Because this is a wonderful way of looking at things. It's a third way, actually. For me, it's a
Interesting.
third
So
way.
future is hybrid, just like our workplaces. At least that's what I believe.
Yeah.
I would like to believe. And the reason I say that is because while arranged marriages are still happening in India and it is here to stay, for the kind of people that you guys, me, my husband, all of us have seen our journeys a little differently because we left we possibly, and that's the kind of people I cater to. They typically left from their homes in their late teens, early 20s, completed some part of schooling and whatever college, and maybe then moved to another city for college, hostel life, first job, figuring out if they want to go for a master's or not. And they haven't really lived with their family or that larger joint family system and everything in a really long time. So, three things that are happening. One, as we are moving away from our hometowns, from our native places, from our larger joint families and support systems, we are shaping our own identities and we are taking a lot of individual calls on my profession, my career, my choice of pin code I want to live in, my person, my like a lot of those things, right? So that's a lot. That's a lot of decision making to be done.
Correct.
Now, the second point being the fact that I've also seen a lot of disconnect between what could have been an ideal person if you continue to be in that system,
Correct.
in that family which runs a family business in that small town, and you also continue to live there. And the person who is coming with you as a plus one is possibly also a resource in that family business.
Correct.
And that's why everybody needs to have a say
Correct.
on who's going to come, right?
Yeah.
So that, because now we are more individualistic in our nuclear families, in our bigger cities, in a more service-driven economy, so that dynamics has changed. And then the third point being the fact that online dating is here to stay.
Correct.
So it's been a decade in India. A lot of connotation has been very oh, this is for casual and hookups and situationships and whatnot, because those were the early years, but we are definitely getting into more serious dating. We are definitely getting into just figuring out our people, figuring out our tribe. Like earlier today, I was talking to somebody who is in her 20s, from Ranchi in Jharkhand, and now lives abroad and working there. And she met her person in Delhi while he was still visiting from the States. He works as a music teacher, all of it. And one interesting thing that she mentioned was, in a more platonic sense, she said she had to take an online first approach to get to meet new set of people in the city which she's currently in, which is Bangkok. Because if she didn't do that, how is she suddenly supposed to go on the roads and figure out who her people are?
Yeah.
Correct.
And
So
just
a lot
trust.
of, right, trust in everything, right? So online is here to stay. And by the way, every app is a dating app.
Correct.
So anybody telling me that only dating apps are the dating apps, I'm sorry. I've seen people meet on Quora while the girl was still in Indore and the guy was still in Amsterdam, and they hit it off well and they got married. I have seen people slide into each other's LinkedIn messages while
Yeah.
the guy was still in Behrod in Rajasthan and the girl was still in UP, and got together working on a research project. Eventually, they're researching their entire lives together, got married. I have seen people meet through Facebook, through all of your platforms, right? Through
Correct.
your subreddits. I'm sure I remember listening to somebody from my Elevate program, and she mentioned how one of the subreddits, which is Child Free by Choice in India, they
Correct.
open up every Sunday for single people to post their profiles. And that's how she had been on 3 dates
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
through that subreddit. So thanks to that community moderator. So
Yeah.
all I'm saying is that the world is heading towards hybrid. It's no longer, oh, arranged marriages are the only way. Biodata banao, pandit ji ko do, tabhi shaadi hogi. You can definitely have a diversified portfolio. You can bring in your friends and family to make referrals. You could utilize your social media presence to communicate, hey, this is a picture of my bookshelf. These are the kind of books I'm into. This is my vibe. These are the kind of videos I've taken last year,
Yeah.
or
Correct.
whatever that is. And you could also, by the way, be meeting people. I mean, I'm an advocate of dating at workplace. Depending on what your HR's policy is, take it with a pinch of salt. But I totally believe that just like how US data would tell you, 1 in 4 relationships that start at workplace translate into marriage in the US.
There you go.
Yeah. So, and we
Although
have
We are the example,
although
although
live examples of Karan and
yeah.
Shokhi.
But
yeah,
we just met at a workplace. We never dated at the same workplace. But obviously, like it became our meet cute, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I and my husband met at a co-working space.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
And we were working on different startups, but sharing the same table, and that just allows it a lot of uninterrupted and unfiltered time
yeah.
to spend together, have a lot of conversations in a larger friend group, and
Correct,
eventually
correct.
got together
Yeah.
from there. But I advocate dating at
And it's
workplace if
also
that is
very
something which is acceptable.
it's also very logical, right? Apart from your home, actually more than your home, that's the most amount of time you give in your day to your workplace.
Yeah,
Absolutely. आप हफ्ते के 60 hours productive
Exactly.
hours अपनी workplace को दे रहे हो.
It only makes sense.
yeah,
You'll find
Yeah,
someone there only.
yeah.
absolutely.
Yes, which brings me to my last question, which is a little bit of bittersweet, but I really want you to throw some light on it. That there are times when you do so many things like dating app, arranged marriage, this, that, and all. Yet, somehow, because the time is not right, because the universe has not taken your order correctly, in whatever way, it just doesn't work out. So, what would be your, words of wisdom to those couples or those people who are not able to work out something in their relationship currently, or some are not able to find anyone currently?
Interesting. So, thank you for asking that nuanced question. And A, you are the cake any given day, and anyone else is only the icing. So, it's completely okay to uh, not wait it out to achieve those happy moments or work towards those amazing holidays or things you had been meaning to buy and stuff just because शादी हो जाएगी उसके बाद करेंगे. So do it for yourself. Invest in your personal growth. Invest in your fitness, in your whatever it takes, and it's completely okay if you meet that person along the way.
Correct.
And then the B part of it is something that I often ask people. I ask them a set of 3 questions. So if you're currently single, A, do you have time on your calendar to be able to accommodate a new person in your life? So do you actually have time to date, to actively listen to this person, to, hang out? Uh, and I ask them to quantify how many hours they have per week. Because if they're telling me they only have 3 hours per week, I'm like, too less. You don't have time for a human. So how many hours per week on your calendar do you have? B is do you find yourself dateable? Do you think you're date worthy? Because I've seen a lot of people still experiencing body image issues or still
Yeah.
being hesitant to date because, oh, once I get that appraisal, I'm more financially stable and then I'll be able to do that and whatever those reasons are. So, do you think you're dateable? And then third, the last part of it is where are you showing up? Where are you known by your name? Who is in 2 feet distance of you? That's going to make a lot of difference.
Correct.
So I understand if you're currently single, can you answer those 3 questions by yourself? I'm sure that will leave you for a lot of room for reflection and a lot of room to take actions. Because one fine day life में motivation नहीं आएगा. तो प्लीज एक्शंस लेना शुरू कर दीजिए और अगर आपको और ज्यादा एक्शंस लेनी है तो माय वेबसाइट इज अवेलेबल टू ऑफर मोर हेल्प.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is what exactly I was going to say, that if if you guys are currently single and not able to move forward in your dating life, then we've got Radhika right here for you.
Yes.
All her details will be in the description, and she can also tell you how to contact her right now.
Absolutely. So, Radhika Mohta, RADHIKAMOHTA.com is the website. All my social handles are up there. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I'll be more than happy to help you because I absolutely believe that there's someone for everyone. I am that rom-com person.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
why not? Let's get
Absolutely.
you to write your own love story.
यस एंड इस रोम कॉम स्टोरी और इस रोमांटिक स्टोरी से मुझे एक डायलॉग याद आया है कि
Oh,
यार
Irshad, Karan.
Karan को डायलॉग याद है.
This,
वाह वाह
नहीं,
वाह.
obviously, like, because it relates and resonates with our life story. वो शाहरुख खान की मूवी का डायलॉग था ना कि तुम कायनात से कोई चीज मांगो तो तुमको वो मिल ही जाती है. तो it's basically that way that you have put in across. And मेरे हिसाब से वो कायनात हमारे एपिसोड में आज राधिका है. So you guys can reach out to her and probably she will help you out to find the soulmate that
Yeah,
you are looking
like
out
I
for.
said, the model
Yeah.
like Cupid, we
Cupid.
could find
Yeah.
her and get her on our podcast. I think अब जितने single people हमको ऐसे बोलते थे ना कि oh you guys make us so feel so single, yeah. अब
Yeah.
वो सब हमें बोलेंगे. Thank you so much.
I'm glad. Thank you so much for having me on your show. This was a lovely conversation, which we, by the way, also recorded for others to listen to.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so glad to
Same
meet
here, same
Same
here.
the not so fiction,
Karan.
the not so fictitious character that is Karan, and Shokhi. And good to see both of you in the same frame.
So yes, guys, this is it from our side. We are happy that आज हम लोग ने अपनी प्रॉमिस रखी है और सारे सिंगल हो, मैरिड हो या लाइफ के बारे में सोच रहे हो कि लाइफ की शुरुआत कैसे करनी है, we have given you one more opportunity to listen this episode and understand what it takes to get into dating, to live your life and to build a life which is as a team.
And which is also the prelude to happily whatever after. So आप पहले राधिका के पास जाइए, डेटिंग कीजिए, शादी कीजिए और फिर आइए हैप्पीली व्हाटएवर आफ्टर पे शादी की रियलिटी जानने के लिए. And thank you so much for giving us your time, guys. Thank you so much for giving us so much love. We are available on all social media platforms under the name Happily Whatever After Pod. We will also give all Radhika's links and social media handles in the description below. Please check out, and also don't forget to like, share and subscribe us so that you get notified every time we release a new episode. See you next week.
See you guys next week. Thank you.